So how does niching down help you scale up your digital marketing agency? We'll talk about that specifically on today's video. So why niche, right? And I know that you've probably heard this a million times. One of the fastest ways to grow and scale your agency is to choose a very specific vertical, a very specific market, and it makes it easier to deliver. It makes it easier to scale. It makes you more attractive to your client base. But I want to talk about some specific reasons why to niche, and more importantly, why it's going to help you scale as you go from 6 figures to multiple 6 figures to 7 figures and multiple 7 figures and beyond. So why niche? Well, first of all, everybody wants to deal with the expert in their type of business, right? If you've got the choice to work with someone that just coaches businesses, or the choice to work with someone that coaches agencies and has a proven track record, who do you want to work with? Obviously, you're like, I want somebody that's worked with a business just like mine, that's gotten proven results, that has case studies and examples of people that they've won for. That makes you more magnetically attractive. That's why being the expert for dentists is more relevant than being the expert for the local market that you operate in. Everyone wants to deal with an expert in their type of business. It makes it so much easier to close the business opportunities that you get. I remember back in the day when I was running a generalist agency called Developcom, I was trying to get clients, I was trying to grow the business, and I would sit in BNI meetings. So I would go to the local BNI place, I'd sit at the breakfast at 6 a.m. in the morning, everyone would go around and give their 30-second commercial and say, hey, I help businesses generate leads and sales online, right? And I would get a couple of referrals, and I get to do these one-to-ones. If you've experienced this, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And I'd sit with them, and the one-to-one would be with the local chiropractor, or it would be with the local roofing company. And that roofer would say, tell me about yourself. And okay, yeah, I've tried these other companies in the past. Why should I hire you? And I say, look, I'm good at this. I can get you the results. I can build the website. I'd say, like, what other roofing company have you worked with? And I'm like, well, I have this one guy that I worked with once, and this was the result. But I don't have a depth of experience. I don't have a depth of testimonials. I don't have a depth of social proof that I know what I'm doing in that particular industry. And of course, as much as that person might like me individually and think I'm a cool kid sitting at their breakfast, they're not compelled to do business with me. So my close ratio is very low, and it should be, because I don't have the right to demand a premium. I don't have a right to say that I'm going to be the best person they could possibly work with. On the flip side to that, when we became the experts in the plumbing and HVAC space, when I meet with a plumber, even a couple years ago, and now even more so, and that plumber tells me their problems, they tell me what they're looking to accomplish, they tell me where they're looking to go, and then they ask, like, what experience do you have with plumbing companies like mine? I can literally pull up dozens, hundreds of examples of plumbing companies of similar size in similar markets where I can say, this was the client, this is where they were when we started, this is where they're today. Look, let me pull up their website. This is where they rank. This is how many leads they're getting. And hey, if you want to talk to Bob at Bob Jones Plumbing, I'd be glad to give you his contact information. He'd love to chat with you, right? You become magnetically attractive. And it becomes like, wow, why would I think about doing business with anyone other than that organization? Because they have the experience, because they have the expertise, because they have the proven results. And this leads to a much higher close ratio and leads to a much more fun business. Number 3, we're going to get into, but it's really around, it's much easier to fulfill. Oftentimes we think, why niche? Well, yes, it makes you more relevant. Yes, it makes you more attractive. Yes, it makes it easier to sell. But if you're dealing in a generalist business where one day you're working with a plumber, the next day you're dealing with a roofer, the next day you're dealing with a chiropractor, the next day you're dealing with whatever, an e-commerce shop, there's no way you can systematize that, right? Every new type of client requires creative thought. What are the keywords? What are the conversion factors? What are the directories we would want to get them in? What types of link work best in this industry? What kind of text ads would we run? What kind of ads make sense for retargeting? You don't know the industry that well. And the only way to get to know it even a little bit is to go deep in research. It's to spend a lot of time and creative energy. Where being in a niche, every client that you get stacks on itself. Your expertise expands. Your understanding of the industry improves. The context, because of the data that you have access to, makes you better than the competition. And you can systematize it. Hey, here's the keywords we're focused on because we know that they're most valuable. Here's the way that we want to structure the website because we know that that converts best based on our experience. Here's the directories we want to add them to, the links that we can get, the way we structure our landing pages and our text ads. You can become extremely good. And because it's the same for one client to the next, you can also put it into a process. You can hand it off to a team. You can remove yourself from that process very, very effectively, which leads to more efficiency, which leads to better profitability, which leads to a business that can scale without you having to be involved in every single client. This is, in my mind, one of the most powerful reasons that you want to be in a niche. You're not reinventing the wheel from one client to the next. And of course, because you've got so much experience, you're able to get extremely good, right? I can only get so good working with 1, 2, 5 roofing companies. But when I work with 150, 170, 200 plus plumbing and HVAC companies, there's no way that I wouldn't get good, that my team wouldn't get good, that my web designers wouldn't get good at that particular industry. You get extremely good at it. And honestly, it is the fastest and easiest way to grow and scale an agency. At this point, we now have 128 agencies that have grown to 7 figures over the last couple of years by choosing a niche, positioning themselves as the expert, putting together a program package that they're able to deliver on a very consistent basis, and have a monthly retainer fee that's growing and growing and growing over time. So how does this help with scale, right? How does it make it simpler to scale? Like I said, you can systematize the delivery, right? Because you're doing the same thing, you can say, okay, what are the steps? What are the timelines? You can put it into a project management system like ClickUp. You can templatize that process, which is truly a productized, systematizable service. You can test across multiple clients in the same niche and get really good at it, right? Because we're working with dozens or hundreds of clients, instead of looking at them one by one, we're able to roll up what's working best in SEO, roll up what's working best in paid search, roll up what's working best with conversion optimization, roll up what's working best with our marketing automation strategies, and that makes us really good. And it gives us a competitive advantage because we've got deep expertise and deep knowledge in a very specific industry. And then we can map out the entire deliverable in advance and get really good, predictable results where we're not telling the client, hey, we think by the time we get to the 3rd month, you might be able to get this and hopefully it works out. No, we're confidently able to say, based on our experience, we're going to do this, 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 and this. And by the 3rd month, you can expect this to happen. You can expect this result and really be extremely close with those projections, right? Clients, they want to deal with the experts. They want a proven process and they want confidence in the outcome. And when you've got a lot of expertise and you've got a mapped out process and you've proven it again and again and again, you can create that confidence on demand. So this is how being niche helps you scale up your digital marketing agency. I've got a complete training called the 7-Figure Agency Roadmap that explains the entire process and walks you through how to choose your niche, position yourself as the expert, put the systems in place to get clients to come to you in advance, and put the systems in place to deliver world-class results. If you'd like to check that out, it's completely free. You can go to 7figureagency.com/roadmap, 7figureagency.com/roadmap, and go check it out right now.